Before we get started with the demo, let's take a look at the different software and hardware that we're using in this project. Our first point of entry is TouchDesigner. TouchDesigner is a node-based visual programming language for real-time interactive multimedia content. In this project, we are using TouchDesigner for three primary tasks: running computer vision scripts, broadcasting parameter changes to Ableton, and generating the UI for projection. So first, let's do a little walkthrough of our TouchDesigner patch. We have our video coming in through our webcam, which we are then routing. First, we route to our ARUCO marker detection script, which is going to detect the markers that are being projected on the ground. You can see those here. So once I enable this script, it will find those markers. And then once I enable this script, it's going to use those markers and crop the video output so that it matches the camera and the projector viewport. And that way we have a one-to-one between what the camera sees and what the projector is projecting. So we can see that this changed and it updated the UI, so now we are tracking our object in 3D space. So now that we have the ARUCO markers in play, we see that this operator is cropping our video from the original to the new space, which this is what we now use. We have a smaller video that is being put into our object detector. This object detector is running a Python script with MediaPipe, and we are using MediaPipe to get the positional data. So you can see those channels are like more or less populating here. We are using this hold operator so that we hold those values and it'll update every time it turns back on. So once we get through that, we are now splitting our individual channels that we found. So we are getting the centroids up here and the rotational data here so that we can process them separately. We then map them to their value space, and now we go over here to our TouchDesigner Ableton section where we are going to take all these values and export them into our Ableton instance, which is up here. And so changing these parameters will change parameters of this Ableton composition. So in addition to getting these centroids and rotational data mapped to Ableton, we also send these out to our UI composition, which is up here. So the UI tracker basically has a spotlight that is running over our 3D object. So we use the centroid position for the spotlight, and then we are splitting the channels for the X, Y, and Z and getting those rotational positions mapped out as these different red, green, and blue arcs that map onto the projected surface. And we can see that over here as such. And so if I move this guy over here, the camera should follow him. It's a little laggy, but that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to put it all together and see it all come to life. So first we'll press play on our Ableton instance, and then we'll play around with the shoe. So the idea is, as I move the shoe around, this will track it, and it'll update the music. Oops, that's me.